What is up, everybody? It's Jason here, formerly of Animal Planet Scaled, and of course, Reptile Parties here in Calgary. And for the last month or two, we've been doing a lot of classroom presentations and stuff virally. We've also done chats with people where I've just shown them some animals, grown-ups, kids. And so people have been asking kind of what that's like. So I thought I would share what this experience is. And in order to do that, I had to invite a friend. So I was racking my brain, and I was like, who would be a good person to talk to? And then I thought, why don't I bring in Jann Arden? Hi, Jann.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I made myself a cup of tea. And as much as the critters that you have sometimes really scare me, I am really looking forward to seeing what you've got, Jason. What's going on? And I'm glad I'm not in person. So, hooray!
You're glad it's not in person?
Yes, and I don't mean that in a mean way at all. Oh my gosh, I get so squeamish, and I don't even know what you're gonna show me, but I am glad that I am not sitting beside you.
We are gonna remedy that someday.
Yes, we will. We will. The best is yet to come, Jason. Good things come out of bad things. We're gonna get through this.
So I thought today I would actually share a couple of animals that have something in common with you. No, they're not Juno Award-winning singer-songwriters. They're vegetarians.
Oh.
A lot of people don't realize there are not a ton of species, but there are quite a few reptiles that are strictly herbivores. You don't have to feed them bugs. You don't have to feed them rodents. So I thought I'd share 3 of those with you and talk about them.
Right up my alley.
So this is a Urumastyx. So Urumastyx are found in Africa, and they have this spiky tail. So that's their main defense mechanism. Yeah, look at that face.
Oh.
I feel like this is a very dinosaur-like animal.
Okay, can I just comment on his tail? It looks like Lego. It looks so fake.
Yeah, that's a good visual comparison, Jann. So what they do is they'll be basking. They're a desert lizard. They're found in like sub-Saharan Africa, and so they'll be hanging out. And if they get scared, they run and hide, and they will wedge themselves in a rocky crevice. They'll have their tail behind them, and they swing with their tail. So the idea is that it's like getting punched in the face. So we can.
That's what I do. I hide in a crevice.
And they're found in desert areas, right? And they dig burrows and stuff like that. So I guess you could say these guys are often living under dunes.
OMG. Well, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Living under dunes.
Living under dunes, yeah. That popped in my head last night, and I've been like counting down the hours so I could bust that one.
It's epic. Yeah, it is. The tail is very Lego-ish, and I'm always astounded by how DNA works. That all this messaging going into cells to make that tail like it's in little. Like it's got little joints to it. It literally is, so it can bend. It has those little things. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel like I might be able to touch that in person. That doesn't look too doom and gloom to me. It looks manageable, and he seems to be disliking sitting on your hand.
Yeah, they're pretty chill. When they're a bit cooler, they slow down a bit, like a lot of reptiles, because they are cold-blooded. But when he's in his enclosure, if he's been sitting under his heat lamp, he'll run around. It could be a bit more of a chase to be like, no, come here, come hang out. But they eat.
Are his eyes red?
Yeah, kind of reddish brown.
Hey, what do they eat?
They eat leafy greens and they eat birdseed.
Birdseed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, come on over. What's his name? Do you name these guys?
I do. His name is Crank. And I love his coloring too. When he's really warm, his back is like neon green.
Is he cold to the touch, Jason?
If he's been sitting under, like, in the sun, if they've been basking, or if they're under a heat lamp, they're a bit warmer because they do absorb the heat from around them. Right now he's still warm, but he's not like as hot as he was when I took him out. So it all kind of depends on the, you know, what the environment has been. Certainly, like, if it's a bit cooler out, they'll feel cooler, you know, but they don't feel warm like humans or mammals.
Would they bite a person if they felt in peril?
They tend to be more tail whippy than bitey. I don't really know of anyone that has been bitten by a Urumastyx. I mean, technically anything with a mouth can bite, but these guys, I don't think I've ever really seen one do it.
True to that. He's cute, and he's the right size too.
Yeah, nice manageable size. They do need
and
a
he's
lot.
Got 3 toes.
He has. Show Jan your foot. 5.
Oh my God! It's like a little mini hand. Yep. He's got freaking a thumb and 4 fingers.
Yeah, and then the back toes are longer for digging.
Same.
Same.
Yeah, you should see me at a beach, dig holes with my feet. I love it.
I can picture that.
I just sit there with my book and I just dig my feet in the sand.
I mean, really, that's what a lot of us do. So I'd say that's accurate. This is another one of my favorites. So this is Flapjack, and Flapjack is a pancake tortoise. So usually tortoises have like a domed shell. His or her shell is flat, and that's why they're called pancake tortoises. But the funny thing is when they first hatch, their shell is a dome, and then as they grow, it flattens out.
It's kind of like boobs. It's kind of like female boobs. It all starts out really good, and then as you get older, it's really, the flapjack problem really sets in. Well, she's cute. Now, is there ever in history, is it possible, this is a really stupid question, is it possible for a turtle to live without its shell? Has it ever been done? Has there ever been like a shell so damaged that some wildlife place is like, we're going to save you even though your shell got ripped off by a truck?
So the shell does not come off. It's not possible to live without it. Like literally, her spine is down here and her rib cage is
fused onto it. Okay.
It is her body. The shells can be surprisingly resilient. So there are instances where like turtles or tortoises have been hit by cars and their shell's been badly damaged, and they've done things like put gauze over it, because it is almost like skin. Like it's made out of keratin, but it will heal over. So like they put gauze over it and it would heal, and they just keep changing the gauze and keeping it clean and stuff. And it's formed almost like a layer of skin. It's not as hard as the shell. There's actually
But it will reconstruct itself. It can heal.
Yes.
That's so great.
If they're completely destroyed, then no. And
now a turtle does not breathe underwater, correct? It just holds its breath.
Some are able to kind of breathe. Yeah, I guess they mostly hold their breath.
Okay.
Some of them will just really slow down their respiratory rate, so they don't have to surface very often. But so this is a tortoise, and the main differences between tortoises and turtles. Tortoises are land animals, so feet very clearly designed for walking. Turtles live in, near, and around water, so your pond turtles, your sea turtles, the turtles we see in BC. And then the tortoises are a herbivore, so complete vegetarian. Turtles are omnivores, so veggies, fruit, and meat.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Sorry, if I'm asking too many questions, you can just hit leave chat. And then you'll just disappear and I'll wonder where you went. My friend Nigel lives in London, England. He lives in sort of the suburbs in southern London. And his mother, who is still very much alive, she's 83 years old, Roz, she has two tortoises.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't think this was even a real thing. In the spring, she literally goes in her attic, takes them out of these boxes that they have been in all winter, and sets them back in the garden.
Mhm.
Like, at the end of the summer and into the fall, she's like, we need to put the turtles in the boxes and put them up in the attic.
Mhm.
How is that possible? Like, can you explain? I kept saying to him, that is not true. He goes, Jann, ever since I was a kid, those bloody turtles got put away in the wintertime.
Mhm. It's similar in a lot of ways to hibernation. So, we have our animals like bears that go to sleep for the winter and things like that. So with them,
Right.
It's called brumation, and it's just sort of a part of some species' natural cycle, not all of them. Like, we do have reptiles here in Alberta, but in January, you're not going to see like garter snakes slithering around. Do you have
They
garter
hibernate.
snakes in your property? Yeah, they hibernate. Do you have garter snakes in your property?
I have never seen one.
Okay.
I've never even seen a dead one. I remember as kids, once in a while, we would see garter snakes in Springbank. I lived, believe it or not, on 85th Street when the city had only come out sort of as far as the Calgary Co-op, like the West Hills. Nothing was there. We used to play in those hills all the time. And but I've never seen one alive myself. I'm trying to think if we ever saw little pond turtles. I don't know if there's anything that's indigenous to Alberta.
No.
Turtle-wise, yeah. We had tons of frogs. We had a blast catching frogs, little tiny guys, and that beautiful sound that they make in the evening.
Yeah.
When in the warmth of the summer. That was one of my favorite childhood sounds, is listening to that creek. And then if you yelled, if you went, hey, everybody would stop for a second, and then they'd start up again. It was always pretty cute.
I grew up in Hawkwood, and so when I was growing up, it was the Hawkwood was the end of the city, so there was no Tuscany, Royal Oak,
Hawkwood was the end of the. Yeah. I mean, holy moly! I know, that's just nuts. And Midnapore was a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
And for people that are watching this that aren't from Calgary, it's basically Calgary's little mini version of the GTA. Like, if you're from Toronto, these little communities that were considered little towns unto themselves were eventually absorbed into Calgary and just became like neighborhoods instead of little towns. I'm pretty sure Midnapore was a town.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
And now it's literally a hood,
so it was
a neighborhood.
Bonus.
Yeah. Bonus was like a little town. I know I'm just aging myself rapidly here, but yeah, the frogs and every crickets, I guess grasshoppers, we used to catch those. Yeah. I saw my first firefly when I was one of my first trips to Nashville, Tennessee. So I know some things that are a pain in the butt to some people would be so glorious here. Like, I'd love if we had fireflies.
So to get back to your question.
Sorry.
No, that's the point of the conversation, but I just want to make sure we loop back around to it. So yeah, they will, different species will hibernate. So tortoises have been really popular as pets in the UK for like a really long time. But it's interesting that you mentioned like his mom has had it since he was a kid. Like, a lot of tortoises can live 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, 100 plus years. So that's one of those things a lot of people don't realize when they get one as a pet, is the fact that like their grandchildren, if they choose to have kids, are going to have to eventually take care of that animal.
I think his sister now has the one tortoise, and he or she goes up into the box, into the attic in the fall and comes out in summer.
Yeah.
Literally just walks around the garden by himself. I don't know if they have predators or what the deal is. It'd be kind of hard to eat a turtle.
Not really in London. Oh. Like, there's not a lot of wildlife in London, or like a lot of like big animals. Like, even here, I'll put my turtles and tortoises out. Not I'll bring them in at night. I don't keep them in the yard for the entire summer, but they're in a covered enclosure, because where I am, I back onto Fish Creek Park. So, there's bobcats, there's occasional raccoons, there's skunks, which could be a predator that would try and attack them. Even if they couldn't break the shell, they're small enough to be something they might consider food or try to harm. So they're covered up, so they're not accessible, but they get the sunshine during that 4 days that we get of summer here in Alberta.
Yeah. Summer happened on a Wednesday last year.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. We've had such nice weather in May. Normally, like May long weekend, it's like it's snowing, and then it's like COVID-19. Haha, we'll be gorgeous.
I don't even know what to say about that. It's starting to feel a bit more lifelike out there. I have faith. I think we'll absolutely get there. Recent events have made me stop thinking about COVID.
Yeah. So this is my other vegetarian.
Oh, he's a weird color.
So this is a green iguana, but he's blue. So they actually do come in different colors. They can be blue, they can be albino, they can be red, orange, and the typical green color. The reason why I'm wearing a glove is just because her claws are really, really sharp. And I do trim them, but I like to keep them still long enough because she does have wood and stuff that she climbs around in her enclosure. So, that lets her, good Jann, not at me. That lets her, still be able to grip and hold and climb on and hold on. So she actually dropped her tail about 1.5 years ago. And
what does that mean?
So a lot of reptiles, a lot of geckos especially, and some like iguanas, basically it's a threat response. So if they feel threatened, they can drop their tail and it falls off and twitches and wiggles around on the ground like a worm. So the idea is the predator will stop and eat the tail and they can get away. So when I first got her, she had like a little freak out and we were trying to get out of the enclosure and she dropped her tail. And that was like really disappointing because the tail should be like another like length longer.
So the tail fools the predator into thinking they've got something moving?
Yeah.
While she can get away? Oh, my Lord.
But they also use a tail for defense. So it's kind of weird that they would do that, especially when they're younger, because when they're bigger, they hit with their tail, and the tail can leave welts and bruises. Like a big green iguana is an impressive animal, and they aren't good pets. People, like you asked earlier about biting, iguanas can bite, and they often do as pets. And like a big male iguana, their bite can require stitches.
Yeah, I won't be holding on to. Have you ever been bitten by your iguana?
Not by my iguanas, no.
But by somebody else's iguana?
No, I've been bitten by like other reptiles, but not the iguanas. You sort of know how.
It's really such a beautiful aquamarine color. Like it looks. It's just a beautiful color.
Yeah. This is a beautiful animal. I actually got it from someone that sort of moved out of the house at 18, really loved reptiles, wasn't allowed to have one. So the moment they moved out, they got one and then realized they were in over their head type of situation. So that's how Zen here came to live with me. But it's funny because people are always like, oh, it's a herbivore. It must not be dangerous. And I'm like, elk and bison and Cape buffalo and hippos would disagree with you. So these guys, they can, I see, like if I go down to Mexico, or these guys are an invasive species in Florida, and you see people like trying to approach them and offer them food and stuff. And I'm like, that animal could really mess you up.
Come in here.
Hi, Mitty.
I would just like to, oh my God.
You just froze.
The guy, where my pond, his Jann knocked over the feeding table. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
My little squirrel table.
The dog's knocked it over?
Oh. I don't think the dog can catch the squirrel.
No.
I think we're okay. So is there enough action around here for you? Wow. Ranger. I don't know if the guy's even here. He must be. This is exciting country living, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder what he'd do if he saw that beautiful iguana. Yeah. I just, I can't even get over the, oh my gosh. This is like being in some kind of a freakish zoo over here. Oh, the guy is here. I just saw him. People are going to really know how exciting my life is. There.
So her diet is, again, mostly leafy greens. She does get carrot, she gets squash, she gets peppers, and then they really like fruit. They really like colorful fruit, so she would definitely be a fan of blood red cherries.
I've got some cherries in my freezer. I actually could probably feed that iguana for a few days, and we'd both be okay.
Yeah. She probably eats better than a lot of people do.
Beautiful. That's my favorite so far, I think.
It's your favorite so far? All right, guys. So we are going to, as my iguana escapes, stay. No jumping. That was part one. So we are going to be back with Jann Arden for another video. So make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to show her some of the non-vegetarians.